after his first term, Clinton ended up being reelected in 96.
Yes.
And he ran against Republican candidate Bob Dole.
Bob Dole wants to tell you about what Bob Dole thinks.
Yes.
And Ross Perot.
Yes.
Let's not forget Perot ran a second time. He wasn't as successful.
Right.
But he did run for another. He did have another go.
Right. Bob Dole spoke about himself in third person at times. He was a successful senator, but he's also the only of course, then again, they didn't have these back then. But, I mean, he did go on to, after he left politics, do erectile dysfunction commercials.
Bob Dole wants to tell you about Viagra.
Yes. Yes, and Bob, not to be confused with the Smiling Bob commercials. Those were pretty hilarious. So if you're too young to remember those, Google is your friend. But no, at the time...
Don't Google at work, though.
No. At the time, Dole was 73 years old when he was running for president, and Clinton focused on his own age, pointing out that he was young and energetic, and presented Dole as an aged conservative before Dole was even the official candidate.
So he was taking his shots before...
Right. And, Dole's comebacks were seen as an attempt to pander to older voters, but they really... It didn't go so well with the younger ones.
No, the younger crowd didn't want, as Clinton described him, another aged conservative running things for... Again, you already had Ronald Reagan, who was older when he became president. You already had H.W. Bush, who was older when he became president.
And you have to think, Clinton's a boomer.
Yeah.
So it was the boomer ones that were younger, and Dole was from the older, quote, greatest generation.
Yeah.
Dole was, and so...
Clinton appealed to the boomers and Gen X, kind of like certain politicians do.
He bridged
Gen Z.
well, yeah. But he. Sorry, you kind of threw me there for a second. Yeah, it would have been.
Sorry.
It would have been. No, you're good. It would have been Gen X and boomers, but just because Clinton, he was boomer, but this was before boomers were as jaded too.
Yeah, that's true.
Boomers weren't as, but anywho, so
they weren't as boomerific as they are now.
Yeah, they weren't okay boomer. They were like boomer.
We're the baby boomers. But
the thing is that
baby boomers were seen as what we see millennials now.
Right, but you also have to understand is that the baby boomer generation is huge.
Oh yeah,
I mean that's the whole thing. That's by definition, right? And so Clinton was one of the first of their ranks to be wildly successful in that, and they saw themselves in that. So he was very clearly boomer.
Yeah.
And they you know what I mean, that they identified, and so en masse, it's sort of like millennials and whatnot with Obama and what. Even though Obama isn't a millennial,
he's Gen X.
He is to Gen X and millennials
what Clinton
was to boomers and Gen X.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, but anyway, we can go down this rabbit hole forever. But the election results turned out that the RNC began to distance themselves from Dole due to his poor poll numbers.
Yes.
And they focused on retaining the House. Imagine you suck so bad where they just pull your funding before even the
first ballot's cast.
Yeah, before after the primaries, you're like, no, we're really?
not. If this is the best that we can do, well...
Right.
Let's get Fred Thompson out here.
Right. So he basically got like coupon ads. I mean, really. So Clinton ended up winning the popular vote and the Electoral College, taking 31 states and 379 electoral votes, which is phenomenal.
Yes.